I want to show you my best performing Facebook ad to date, and we are going to talk a little bit about numbers and my release schedule on Spotify moving forward. And you can consider this a kind of an update video about how my marketing on Spotify is going. Since the campaign or the track in question are doing so good for me at the moment, I have decided to pause or postpone my release schedule and focus on getting the most out of this track while it has some momentum or are actually building momentum on Spotify. I usually release tracks about once every month because that is a good release strategy for Spotify or other streaming services. I have tracks lined up for this month and next month, but promoting them of course costs money, and I don't have an unlimited supply of said money, so that is why I have decided to try to focus on this track since it's doing so good. If it was another track that didn't do quite as good, I will probably scrap that one and just move on with another track. And that's actually what I have been doing for the past, I think, maybe 6 months. Something like that. This particular track is doing pretty good. Yeah, I want to focus on that one. So I want to keep promoting it as long as it's providing or performing good enough. So if we take a look into Facebook here, I have the campaign going here. I'm going to go into a little bit of the details later on. But if you go into it here, it's Deep Structures. That's the name of the track. And if we take a look at the ads here, I only have 4 ads. They have the same graphics, but they are playing different parts of the track. And the ad in question that is doing the best is the one that I have the build-up part of the track in. And it looks like this. I can just play it here so you can see how the actual ad people are seeing, how it looks like. So this is the creative that is doing pretty good. And then we have another one. The intro part here, it's not doing quite as good. This is this ad is not resonating with people. So this ad is performing the worst, and the other one there is performing the best. So if you're just a little side note here, that if you're planning to do promotion yourself, you should make a few ads for different parts of your track and see what works. For example, when I did this, I thought that perhaps the main 2 part was the part that people are going to resonate the most with, but actually it was the build-up. So it's wise to have different ad creatives. But anyway, we can see here I have been running the ad for, I think it's about a little bit over a week. So we have 674 results here. So that means 674 clicks to the Spotify profile. And it's the average cost here is 1 crown, and that is approximately $0.094. And obviously this is a really cheap conversion for this type of ad, and that is also why I want to run it a lot more. But I have to say also the countries I'm targeting here, it's not only tier 1, tier 2 countries. I'm also targeting tier 3 countries, and we can take a look in the ad here, and we go to the ad set and we go down here, and you can screenshot this or do whatever you want, but here is the countries I am targeting for this type of ad. I am matching interests Spotify, and I also matching interests progressive house, and I'm targeting the age bracket 18 to 50. I'm using manual placements. I'm using Instagram feed, Instagram Explore, Instagram Stories, and Reels. And that's basically what I'm doing at the moment. I find that those placements are working pretty good, but that can also change. So if you watch this video like a year from now, that could be changed. So if we do a breakdown here by country and we scroll down to the ad that is doing the best, we can see what type of countries we get the most clicks from. So we have some sub 10 clicks here. So we have different types of countries here, but we can see that Brazil is actually one of the biggest countries that I am getting streams from. And it also corroborates in the artist statistics in Spotify. And yeah, we can scroll down here and we see the countries and what the costs are. Like, for example, Iceland here, it's a little bit more expensive. And we can go down and see, okay, 1 click from Japan, that's about 35 cents. And yeah, but in general, it seems like the costs per click here is pretty low. And we can also go and take a look at Tone then. So this is the place where I have the ads hosted. So Tonedown is a free site where you can actually make your ad and host them there. So I have deep structures going on here, and we can see that the click-through rate is 83%, and that's pretty high. We can see here, for example, the track 0 Point I had a few months ago had a click-through rate of 70%. So that means that when they are going to this site and to the landing page and they have clicked on the ad, they still don't go through to or 30% still don't go through to Spotify. So this is how the landing page looks on deep structures. So when you go on your mobile phone and go to the ad, I only have Spotify here. I don't have any other streaming services like Apple iTunes or any streaming services like that, because I want to focus on building up my Spotify profile for the moment. So for this campaign, I have decided to use about $200 in about 1 month. So that is approximately $7 per day for about 29 days. As far as this campaign goes, that is working pretty good. So if we take a look at the track in question here, we go to releases and we take a look at deep structures. We can see the stats for today. So I released it in the beginning of March here, and we are getting a few streams, and yeah, it's climbing up here, and yesterday I had 322. I haven't been getting a release radar boost or come on Discover Weekly just yet, but we can see that if we see at the save ratio here, we can take a look at that. So if we open calculator and we see if we can find the percentage, so 305 times 100. So I have a save ratio on this track for 54%, and that means that almost or over half of the people listening to this track is clicking save in Spotify. So we can compare that with another track I have here. For example, let's take a look at Sky Machine, which is I think that's one of my better tracks. It's a trance track, but anyways, we have 61 saves here and 234 listeners, so that is obviously a lot less. So let's see. So this one has a save rate of 26%, much lower than the actual track in question here. I also want to take a look inside DistroKid. I use DistroKid to release all of my music on Spotify. If we go to Bank here and we go and November 2022. So we can see that in November 2022, I earned $45 on different streaming services for my music. And if we see breakdown by service here, we can see that I have about $2 from Apple iTunes or Apple Music, and $41 from Spotify, and some change from other places here like Deezer, some YouTube revenue. Actually, yeah, some actually not reported yet here, but the bulk is about $45. And I can take a look at my spreadsheet here, and for November, that was the track called Containment Field. This track has not been doing pretty good. It was one of my less performing tracks. Used a budget of $500 for this track, and I got about $43 in return in money. So I have now used these $43 for this release for March month. So I have actually used about $150 from my own money, used the revenue from Spotify to fill in the rest. So you may say that, well, this is it's not a kind of return of investment per se, but if I go to my Spotify page here and I go to audience and let's say I go to followers, and we have to take since 2015 here, we can see that in November, so let's say November, the 2nd of November, so I had 250 followers, and if we go up here to the last, so November 30, I had 350 followers. Mind you, these are not followers you kind of buy on Fiverr. These are followers that comes from a Facebook ad, that actually clicks on your ad, that are interested in your ad, that are listening to your music, in the end are clicking on like or the plus sign on Spotify. And I think I don't have many followers, but I think these followers are actually interested in your music. So I would much rather have, let's say, 1,000 followers that are actually interested in what I have, instead of, 10,000 followers that you have paid for on Fiverr. I don't believe in that kind of stuff. And it kind of seems like other people have been trying this and that it doesn't really work. You have to do it in some kind of other way like this, where you get real people. So I have my own theory, and I think that if you produce a track that is really good and people like it, I think that the ads spend will be lower, because people like the track and they click on it. If you produce something that doesn't really resonate with people, I think it's much harder for Facebook to find people that like that type of music. There are always someone perhaps out there, but it would probably cost more for Facebook to find those people, and that is I think that is a way you can see that in your ads, that if they are really expensive, it's probably maybe it could be something else than a track as well. It could be the ad creative or the graphics or the parts you have selected in the tracks. But yeah, it's just my non-scientific observation of things. So I think that advertising on Facebook, it gives real results. So it will be interesting to see if this track is going to get some Spotify algorithmic help in the coming weeks. I'm not sure what is going to happen, but I'm going to keep promoting it as I do. Make sure to check out the next video that pops up here, and if you want to support, I have some links in the description below to my Spotify profile, Patreon, and other places. With that said, thank you for following my channel and my videos. Take care, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.